What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out artist tattoos, and I like these critiques because I can go a little bit more in depth. I'm curious to see what we have, so let's not waste any more time and get right into it. What's up, guys? The wait is finally over. The new 24-karat gold set between World Famous and myself is here. This set includes every single color you could need to make ultra metallic shiny tattoos like this, or this, and even this. I'm excited for you guys to try it. This is all I've been using for the past 2 years, and I absolutely love it. So make sure to head over to painfulpleasures.com and use my promo code PONY15 to save 15% off. And if you do pick up the set and use it on a tattoo, send over a picture or video to ponycritiques@gmail.com and we will feature it on an episode. Once again, that's painfulpleasures.com, promo code PONY15. Welcome back. Today we are checking out artist tattoos, and the first one to send one over is Daniel Headland, who's been tattooing between 12 and 14 years. And the first one you sent in is this little red panda sticker, and I absolutely love tattooing stickers. I think they're one of the more fun things to do. And I feel like I've learned a lot recently when it comes to stickers, so I'm gonna try to give you my best advice on what you can do to make this thing better. And the first thing would be is I like to use an actual sticker maker. Print out a sticker, fold it up a little bit, put it on a piece of paper, use a nice light to get some shadows. That way you're getting something as realistic as possible. Sure, you can draw it, but you're gonna end up with things that just don't necessarily look realistic. You're not really gonna know where to put the shadows and so on and so forth. Anyway, the first thing I look at when checking out sticker tattoos are where the shadows are placed, because most of the time they're wrong. A lot of times I will see shadows sticking out from every side of a sticker. It almost looks like the sticker's hovering on the skin, and you wouldn't really see shadows from every angle. So I'm glad I don't see shadows on the top of this sticker, but the ones on the bottom are a little odd, especially on that lower right-hand side where you've got these two little shadows. It just looks like it's not really stuck down. I think we would see the shadow where the piece is folding up. That would make sense. But the one that's nestled in this little area here, I feel like that could be a bit tighter, make it look like the paper is actually sitting on the skin. It does look like the left-hand side where that little foliage is lifting off the skin, but there is no shadow, so not really sure what's happening there. And honestly, I would use a little bit darker gray wash outline around this entire thing, because when that fades away, it's gonna kind of lose some of its strength, especially on the bottom left where this weakly put in white is. Once that gray wash is gone, it's just gonna look a bit too soft. And again, this is the bottom of the sticker, so there should be some sort of shadow, even if it's just a nice stark line. And as I said before, the white it's not that well put in. The white is the most bright, vivid thing of a sticker, so you want to make sure that that white is properly saturated all the way around. And the whites are one of the more hard things to do in a sticker tattoo, since we're doing that last, but you really got to take the time and make sure all these little nooks and crannies are filled in. Other than that, the red panda itself, it's not bad. It could use some tightening up here and there. You know, make sure you take the time to really go in there and fill in all those little areas. But I'm more so just critiquing the sticker here, the part that makes it look believable. You also sent over this little shiny metallic Christmas tree mold. Looks familiar. Now, the one thing I would say about this tattoo is I wish it were quite a bit bigger. I mean, the little Pikachu at the bottom of the ankle is bigger than this thing. And I really think that that Christmas tree mold should have been maybe 75% bigger. Fill in the entire area of that ankle. And in doing so, it'll be a lot easier to do all those tiny little triangles in the gem part. Because right now it is pretty small, so I would like to see how this looks in 3 or 4 years. All those tiny little details might just kind of fade together, but had you made this bigger, there would be more room for this to live on a lot longer. And Pikachu looks like he was the one celebrating Christmas. But I do appreciate the little gray wash outline that you have on the back of this thing. It does keep it nice and sharp, which is always nice to see. Most of these small black and white tattoos that don't really have any outlines, and it drives me crazy. But hopefully you picked up a tip or two from that critique and keep sending them in. I'd love to see them. All right, up next is 2 sent in from Tabs, and Tabs, you said you'd like to know how to make your tattoos either more realistic or more illustrative, and you sent in one of each. The first one you sent over is this Art the Clown from Terrifier, and yeah, it doesn't really look that realistic. There's not really any dynamic pop or heavy contrast. And when it comes to realistic tattoos like this, especially of faces, the first thing I look at is the shading around the entire thing. It's one thing that truly bugs me. It feels like it's just there to accent the white on the face. I would either go all in and do a lot of solid black behind it or give it some sort of shape, or leave out that black altogether and just do a nice crisp line all the way around. Keep that area open for another tattoo to sit next to it, and then you can worry about the background later. The details kind of get lost in the mouth, and
even in the eyes, it's not really that crisp. So my suggestion would be to make this thing look more realistic is just to slow down and make sure you put in all those little details. So even if you look at Art the Clown's hat up top, it just looks 2D. There's not really any detail there, and you could tell you didn't spend a lot of time in that hat. But when it comes to realism, the more time you spend in each and every area, it's only going to make things look better and more realistic. Also, not the biggest fan of the way that this tattoo ends on the bottom, but again, I think that's just the black background that goes all the way around. To me, it just feels like a cop-out. I think there are better, more creative things to do than just a black shade all the way around. It probably would have looked better had it just been Art the Clown's, I don't know what you call that, his costume piece? Just a nice sharp edge and leave it at that. All right, you also sent over this little ladybug that you said you would like to know how to make it look more illustrative. And usually what I like to do when it comes to illustrative tattoos is different uses of line weight. Like I see a thicker line on the ladybug, but I think that ladybug should have that thick line all the way around, not just in that top that makes it look like a mistake. It just makes tattoos look more interesting when you have varying line weight. And like I said, I would just do a nice thick line all the way around that body, thinner lines for the flowers in the back, and even thinner lines that run through the flowers. It could also help to have a nice background kind of tying this all together, like a nice purple or complementary color to these pinks and reds that just kind of flow down the arm. It doesn't have to be crazy, just something to tie it all together. If you have some sort of background that gives it a nice flow and shape, not only does it tie things together, but it also gives a purpose for these little petals to be falling around it. But other than that, the saturation is pretty nice, so I can't really bug you for that one. But yeah, tattooing for 2 years, really not bad. I would just focus more on the smaller illustrative stuff at the moment rather than large-scale black and gray realism. Thank you so much, Tabs, for sending those in. All right, the next few tattoos sent in are from Zach Perry, and Zach Perry, the first tattoo you sent over is this really beautiful stopwatch in a nice, like, river scene, or creek. I don't know what you call it in Ohio, maybe a crick? Now, if you're gonna do a stopwatch tattoo, this is the way to do it. And I'm sure the client probably came in and was like, I want a stopwatch and a lion and all this other shit, and he's like, hold up, wait a minute. I got you, fam, and gave you this really beautiful reference in a nice nature scene. This thing's super dope, Zach. I think my favorite part about it is the very top where the little chain links get blurry. It just shows that you didn't slack on any part of this, but even in the pieces that aren't the focal part, you really put your time into it. But I really enjoy how in the very back it's blurry, and then it slowly becomes more and more in focus as you get to the front of this little water trickling through the river. It just really keeps your eyes moving around. Solid tattoo. Let's see what else you sent over. All right, the next one you sent over is this really red astronaut that's kind of reaching forward to what I assume is their kid's drawing. Unless it was the astronaut's drawing and he was like, fuck, I don't want to lose this thing. Mom's gonna put it on her fridge. But super cool contrast between the realism and the little drawing. And what I really love about this tattoo is the little line weight that's around the hand, pushing that thing forward. I think a lot of artists would have left that outline out and it just would have made it too flat. But since that outline is there, it really pushes it forward, and then you've got this drawing in the front, which is also outlined, so it has this crazy dimension. The depth is really apparent in this one. And I like how you tied this tattoo together with the one that's below it. You kind of gave it some sort of like cloudy looking shape. It's not just this flat black area. I think my least favorite part about this tattoo is the top, but I understand that it's probably in an armpit, I assume. But at least you took the time to make it look, again, like some sort of clouds or some sort of environment that the astronaut's living in. Another thing I like about this tattoo is the negative space in the astronaut's helmet. Since there is so much black and shading going on around this entire thing, it's nice to see an area that's just left open with skin. The contrast is crazy, to say the least. And the last one you sent over is, would you look at that?
Oh, would you look at that?
An Art the Clown that's done beautifully. This is how it's done. Tabs, take note. But this thing is wild, and Tabs, I hate to harp on you, but you've only been tattooing for 2 years, so I don't feel that bad. But if you compare these tattoos side by side, I mean, this is a night and day. But granted, Zach has been doing this for a while, so this is what I would expect with somebody with a lot of experience. But these nice subtle facial tones in the cheeks and around the nose, this thing has a lot going on. And you can really tell that Zach took the time to put in these small little details everywhere. And if you look up at the hat, again, comparing side by side, this hat looks like a three-dimensional hat. There were no corners cut in this tattoo, and by looking at everything you can tell. The tiny scalpel has all these little details. The hand, again, it feels like it's being pushed forward. And even the way that the tattoo ends on the bottom, there's some sort of shape or flow, so it's just a well-done tattoo all around. All the teeth are visible in this tattoo, which is nice to see. And there is a little black shading on the side to help out that contrast of the white face, but it's not put in all the way around. And these eyes look absolutely menacing. I mean, they are super cool, super realistic, so excellent job there. Not much else to say about these. I think you did a stellar job, Zach. Keep it up, and looking forward to seeing more of your stuff. All right, the next couple up are from Stefan, or Gross Ink, which is kind of an odd name. I don't know if I'd go to somebody named Gross, but here we are. But this little dinosaur that he sent over is far from gross. It does have some nice saturation to it. There are a couple little areas that look a little rushed, like the blue highlight in the top of the eyebrow. It looks a little chunky, but it's not that bad. I do wish there were a thicker outline around the head and then a thinner outline around the tail. That way it gives it some nice dimension and depth. But as a small, quick little banger tattoo, again, really not bad. I do think some kind of background, maybe in the future, would be really rad, like a little volcano going off in the distance that's nice and blurry, some grass around him, or maybe a little lizard running around would be super cool. Because as it sits right now, it's just a little boring. I mean, again, solid tattoo, but I think it does need more. But you also sent over this little mushroom and snail tattoo, and there are a couple things that I want to bring up with this. The first one being, the blue glow doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, especially if you look at where the glow is shining on the snail. It almost looks like the light is coming from up top, but also reaching the left and right sides. But on the mushroom, it's not really there. Like, it's not hitting the same spots. Sure, it is definitely hitting the left, but nothing on the right. And again, if you look at the snail shell, there is definitely some going on to the right of that shell. So I think there should be something on the mushroom in that area. One other thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is how you added this blue shade to this part of the mushroom underneath the cap itself. Since that is more of a cylinder, you would think that that blue glow would be nice and even all the way across, and there wouldn't be some weird blue glow at the bottom. It's just, like I said, it's not really making a whole lot of sense. The foliage also feels kind of weird or forced. It just feels like it's in there to take up space. I almost would have kept the foliage almost entirely light tones and had some sort of background in there to be behind it. And it could even be like a blue background to give these blue glows a sense of purpose. Also, this mushroom over here also has a little blue glow at the bottom in this area. So again, it's just conflicting light sources. The snail, he's okay. It's nothing crazy. I do like the fact that he has 3 antennas, kind of makes it look like a little alien snail. But a snail trail would have been cool, you know what I mean? But it does look like it's missing something, maybe even a drop shadow on the snail, or it's just, I don't know, this tattoo seems a bit forced in more ways than one. Also, there are some saturation issues on the underside of the cap and the mushroom. I don't know if you meant to leave those skin tone or it just got missed, but it doesn't look very clean. It's just hard for me to tell if it's done purposefully. But I do appreciate you so much, Mr. Gross, for sending those over. And maybe think about changing your Instagram name to Really Clean Tattoos. Because even if they're not, you know, you gotta make people believe it. And the last one sent in is from Ryan, and Ryan, you sent over Nick Valentine's synth hand from Fallout. And we actually had a Fallout episode recently. If you haven't had the chance, go check that out.
Why don't you just shut the hell up for once?
But either way, a couple things I want to bring up about this tattoo, and the first one being the placement. I think this tattoo definitely could have been rotated just a smidge clockwise and moved up to get rid of that awkward space that is now between all of these tattoos. Had that top right of the arrow just been, like I said, tilted and maybe moved up to the right of that paw of whatever animal that is, I think it would have fit a bit nicer. Also, the little chest piece, the rook, it's a little messy. You know, the outlines kind of start and stop at the top of it. I do think it should have been more metallic looking. That way you have this nice contrast in between textures. You'd have the metallic looking chest piece, and then you've got this stipply shaded synth hand. I think it would have been really cool. Speaking of the synth hand, there's something going on with these fingers that I'm not sure how to break it down. It looks like there are 5 fingers coming up from the hand itself. And if we really try to follow these fingers, I don't know where they're going. Like if we follow that ring finger all the way down, it looks like it's going into the same base as the pinky finger. And then as we go up, they're all kind of just falling in this weird area. Like I said, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The outlines did seem to get away from you a little bit. Like if you look at the tip of the middle finger's outline, it's a lot thicker. Then look at the finger next to that, it's a lot thinner. Then look at the pinky finger that's next to that, it looks like that outline is kind of whipping up. So it's a bit messy. It also looks like you went out of the lines on a couple places, like at the bottom left of this hand. When you were whip shading, you kind of went a little crazy because I can see a few gray dots or lines. I also would like to see what this tattoo looks like had it had a darker pink next to that white and then faded out even more, like a solid inch with that lighter pink, and then even throw some of that light pink on the hand itself and the chest piece. It would have really tied all these things together and just given it a nice effect. But other than that, it's just a few things that I think you kind of missed or overlooked. I think it is a really cool idea, but maybe not the greatest of executions. But I do think that's the biggest issue I have with this tattoo are those fingers and where they're going. Maybe somebody can let me know how this works, because looking at it, it just, like I said, doesn't make too much sense. But regardless, thank you so much, Ryan, for sending that over and allowing me to take a peek. Now that the critiques are over, I have to share with you my favorite artist of the episode, which I think is pretty cut and dry here. And if you think it was anybody else other than Zach Perry, you'd be wrong, because these tattoos are almost damn near bulletproof. I love the creative aspect to all three of these things. The execution is great. All these little tricks that Zach threw into these tattoos, it's just super cool. You can really tell he knows what he's doing when it comes to laying down a nice, solid, dope looking tattoo. So if you're not familiar with Zach's work, make sure you give him a follow and hit him up if you're in Ohio. Congratulations once again. All right, now it's that part of the episode where I share with you an artist who I think you should all be following, and this time it's Helen Meredith, who goes by Meredith Tattoo on Instagram, out of Wales. If you're wanting to learn about more illustrative looking tattoos, similar to what Tabs is going for, although these are slightly traditional, they are very well done, and I love how she just composes all these pieces of art. Like this traditional-esque, badass skateboarding bitch. It's got all these crazy little details, but it's not overdone. I especially like the stripes in whatever you would call that thing around her neck. It almost looks flannel. Whatever it is, super dope. I also like how she's got these thin lines in these flowers just to give the flower some shape. Again, Tabs, take note. But if you scroll through her profile, you'll see so much cool shit. Almost every single tattoo is so fun to look at. So again, if you're trying to do more illustrative style tattoos, maybe check out her page. Definitely give her a follow and let her know I sent you. She's only got 10,000 followers, so let's go blow her shit up. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, if you'd like to see your tattoos critiqued here, you can do so by sending them to ponycritiques@gmail.com. And make sure to label whether you are an artist, collector, or apprentice. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here. And as always, I'll see you next week.